Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone, depending upon where you're tuning in from. On behalf of the New York State Council of Health System Pharmacists, I would like to welcome you all to this session of NYSCHP's Annual Assembly. We're thrilled to have three amazing guest speakers with us today to present to us, excuse me, the career paths for pharmacy technicians. Before we start, let me go over our bios for today for our three amazing esteemed panelists. Hold, please. Here we go. The first person I would like to introduce is Meagan Bryan. Meagan Bryan is the lead technician at Olathe Medical Center in Olathe, Kansas. Our speaker for this afternoon, Ms. Meagan Bryan, is a certified pharmacy technician who completed pharmacy technician training at Johnson County Community College in Overland Park, Kansas. She has worked at Olathe Medical Center at Olathe, Kansas for over eight years and has worked for her way to lead technician. Her work interests are leadership development, associate education and training, and guiding workflows and pharmacy operations. Outside of work, she enjoys her family time, hiking and kayaking. Two things I can never do. God bless you. The next amazing speaker is a dear friend and close to my heart, the amazing Nicole Foster. Nichole is the program director and pharmacy technician education and training program at Vanderbilt University Medical Center in Nashville, Tennessee. She has worked in pharmacy for over 19 years and is very committed to growth and advancement of pharmacy technicians. Her effort to advance pharmacy practice for technicians at the state and national level earned her an honor of being the first pharmacy technician to receive the Distinguished Service Award for ASHP 2020. She is a superstar. She is a national treasure. We protect her in terms of our pharmacy technician workforce. So we thank her for all her efforts. And last but not least is the amazing Tiffany Kofroth. Tiffany is an advanced pharmacy technician with the continuing pharmacy education department at the University of Texas at MD Anderson Cancer Center in Houston, Texas. She earned her National Certified Pharmacy Technician certificate in 2002 and received her National Certification Specialty in Sterile Compounding in April of 2018. Tiffany has been practicing as a pharmacy technician for over 23 years. Within her current position, she serves as the primary instructor of the ACPE Initial Sterile Compounding course, content expert and educational program creator for the pharmacy technician CPE training, and staffs within different areas of the Division of Pharmacy. Tiffany currently serves as a hazardous drug and sterile compounding content expert for the National Pharmacy Technician Board, or Ptcb, and has assisted with various exam development projects. Tiffany, as well as my sister from another mister, she is phenomenal in everything that she does in terms of sterile compounding. She is the go-to woman abroad when it comes to this topic. So I'm super happy to have all three of these amazing women on this panel. But before we get started to our presentation, there's some quick points that I want to share, a little bit of housekeeping. For those who have questions that you would like to direct to the speaker, please raise your hand during the QA period. There's a little function at the bottom of your screen for the raising of the hand. The CE code for this program will be provided at the end of the program. Attendees must attend the full session to receive credit. Without further ado, I'd like to present Advancing Pharmacy Together. We can do great things.
Thank you so much, Raphael. I don't have the words to say how happy I am with that lovely introduction of us presenting this. So my name is Tiffany Kofroth, as Raphael mentioned, and I'm going to start out the presentation today. So first, let's go over a couple of the learning objectives for this presentation. And I just realized there's an error on the slide. I'm sorry, it's not all labeled 111, but there are three different learning objectives. The first one is to understand the roles and duties of pharmacy technicians that can lead to the advancement of the technician role. The second one is to identify methods to include technicians in higher level job functions. And then lastly, recognize how various technician roles evolved during the pandemic and the forecast for technicians for a career advancement. As a disclosure statement, all presenters have no relevant financial relationships to disclose. Before we get into our individual presentations, we would first like to clarify the differences between technician training and available credentials nationwide. First, let's clarify registered or licensed technicians from certified technicians. Usually, a technician is first certified by a national entity such as Ptcb, and then can use that certification to register with their board of pharmacy in their home state. Renewals vary by state, but renewing a national certification with Ptcb, you must earn at least 20 hours of continuing education credit that is required to recertify every 2 years. Additional CE credits are needed for specialty certifications such as the CSPT, which is what I have, or the Compounded Sterile Preparation Technician certification, or the Advanced Cphd designation. The Advanced Cphd role requires an extra 5 hours of continuing education credit per recertification cycle, while the CSPT designation requires 10 hours of sterile compounding specific CE credit per recertification cycle. Pertaining to the 20 hours of CE required, 1 of the hours must be in pharmacy law, and the other 1 hour must be in patient safety using that 05 designator. Let's dive into the different assessment-based certificates, or ABCs, that Ptcb offers. As you can see, the main certifications are listed in the first row: CPHT, which is your certified pharmacy technician, followed by CSPT, which is your certified compounded sterile preparation technician, and then finally CPHT Advanced, which is the advanced certified pharmacy technician certification. To earn the CPHT Advanced designation, you must complete the CSPT, the medication history, or the technician product verification certifications, plus any other 3 specialty certifications that are listed below. To find out additional information about these certifications, please feel free to contact Ptcb directly. They have valuable resources available on their website according to price, availability, and educational courses that are the prerequisites. So let's begin our individual presentations. I will be discussing technician career ladders within Houston, Texas, specifically at MD Anderson Cancer Center, which is where I work. I'll start with sharing a short background about the hospital system I work for and their advancements in the treatment of cancer. So we have ranked one of the top 2 hospitals in cancer care every year since the US News and World Report began its annual America's Best Hospital Survey in 1990. We're one of the largest cancer centers in the world, centrally located within the Texas Medical Center in Houston, Texas. Houston is well known for being a primary oil and gas distributor in the United States, but it also provides top-of-the-line medical care. MD Anderson ranks first in the number of research grants provided by the National Cancer Institute. It has also been consistently accredited by the Joint Commission since 1951. The University of Texas's MD Anderson Cancer Center is one of the world's most respected centers devoted exclusively to cancer patient care, research, education, and prevention. New and innovative therapies generally are available at MD Anderson several years before they become standard in the community. So here at MD Anderson, we have different rungs of the pharmacy technician career ladder. It first begins with the entry-level position of the title pharmacy technician. This position is usually held until 6 months or a year after the hire date and includes basic training in all departments within the pharmacy division. For example, our new employees will complete onboard training modules, complete training in areas such as delivery, Pyxis replenishment, outside IV support, as well as non-hazardous sterile compounding. The next step up in the pharmacy technician career ladder is the senior pharmacy technician role. This portion of the ladder is dedicated to the staff that have completed their initial training and have qualified to be cross-trained in the specialty areas such as manufacturing, hazardous compounding, controlled substances, or specialty production areas such as ICU, pediatrics, or OR satellites. The next step up in the career ladder is the advanced pharmacy technician role. This is a coveted role for the pharmacy technicians who have shown dedication and perseverance within their role as a senior pharmacy technician, and they feel that they are qualified to take on new opportunities. The role includes reserving dedicated time to work on special projects within their designated work area. For example, reconfiguration of the technician workflow after we had an IV room environment that underwent construction. This role can include also serving as the instructor and proctor of annual and biannual process validation procedures. The top of our ladder is the pharmacy technician supervisor position. This role serves as a leadership role to other pharmacy technicians within the ladder. They serve as a supervisor and are cross-trained in several staffing departments within their pharmacy area. They have direct reports, troubleshoot issues throughout their shift, and create and modify schedules based on time-off requests. The pharmacy technician supervisor is the highest role available within our division of pharmacy. Let's now move on and talk about positions within the career ladder here at MD Anderson. We have unique roles that we play within the division of pharmacy as a technician. In the lower center column, you'll see my focus, which is to provide support to the division of pharmacy as a sterile compounding instructor. My role includes instructing the 24 or 40-hour initial sterile compounding course for pharmacy technicians, as well as creating biannual sterile compounding certification modules, which can be used for recertification and meet our state board requirements for sterile compounding training. Other positions within the division include quality assurance technicians. These are 4 technicians that are responsible for performing zip rounds and/or audits within the division of pharmacy, and nursing pods to ensure the medications stored follow the guidelines of Joint Commission. They also provide valuable audit information to the pharmacy education team, which is my team, and keep us re-educated on the topics that the staff do not understand fully when they're staffing in those compounding areas. 2 of the roles displayed are within our finance department. The pharmacy purchaser works their magic in recent days of COVID and was able to find our division chemotherapy PPE when it seemed utterly impossible. They also assist in creating drop shipments of non-formula medications and order ancillary supplies as needed. The other role within finance are reimbursement specialists. These technicians provide patients with assistance and getting the lowest copay possible for patients and assist patients with their medical needs, with their financial needs, in order to successfully pay for and start their medical treatments. They're absolute stars when it comes to the ins and outs of the insurance world. The second to last position is a fairly recent position, only 10 years in the making, which is the technician product verifier, or as we like to call it in Texas, tech, check, tech. These technicians are specially trained to check certain types of medications without the approval of the pharmacist. Such medications include cart fill or Pyxis replenishment doses. They provide extra time to the pharmacist in order to perform clinical duties, which are essential to supporting the healthcare team in general. The last position mentioned is the business systems analyst. They work specifically with certain departments such as finance or medication therapy management to perform reporting and analyzing duties behind the scenes. A recent conversation that I had with a business system analyst, she was working on ensuring patients were charged the right amount per dosage received in a weight-based chemotherapy dose project. Now, I would like to give a personal shout out to our dedicated pharmacy technicians. We really could not run our division, let alone our hospital, without the dedication of our pharmacy technicians. I am proud to be one of them and grow professionally with them as we create our new and innovative roles within the credential of the pharmacy technician. So let's now jump to an active learning question. So how many assessment-based certifications are needed to qualify for the Ptcb Advanced CPHD designation? Feel free to use your chat button or think about the question and decide what you think the answer should be. I'll give you guys about 5 seconds. So the correct answer is C, and I apologize for the way the screen looks. C was 4. So you need 4 assessment-based certifications to qualify for the Advanced CPHD designation. This concludes my presentation. I will now pass the baton over to Meagan, who will discuss her technician roles available within her hospital system. Meagan, take it away.
Hi, can everybody hear me? Yeah?
Yes,
okay.
We can.
Okay. Hi, welcome everyone, and thank you, Tiffany. I'm going to discuss the pharmacy technician career ladder at Olathe Medical Center and ways to elevate our technicians to the professionals that they are. We established our career ladder in 2019 and have seen tremendous amount of growth among our pharmacy technicians. It has been very beneficial to our entire pharmacy staff and the entire hospital. Next slide, please. So I want to give you a little bit of background on Olathe Medical Center. Our hospital was built in 1953, and we are a community hospital serving the Southwest Kansas City area. We are a 230-bed acute care hospital. That may seem small, but we're actually one of the largest hospital campuses in the Midwest. We are a 250-acre campus offering a cancer center, hospice house, nursing home, and even a YMCA. That's just to name a few of our health facilities and our outreach programs. We offer critical care, internal medicine, neurology, orthopedics, labor and delivery with a level 2 neonatal intensive care. Olathe Medical Center is an accredited chest pain center, primary stroke center, and a U.S. high-performing hospital in heart failure. We were also listed in the Fortune Watson Health as a top 100 hospital. Our mission statement is to help people through healing, health, and happiness. Next slide, please. So the hot topic for most pharmacy technicians is wages. The good news is overall pharmacy technician wages have not decreased over the years. However, your required knowledge, skills, and responsibilities have increased without the corresponding growth in wages. An example of this is prior to the pandemic, pharmacy techs were not relied upon to administer vaccines. The U.S. Department of Health and Human Services expanded the role of the pharmacy technician to be able to administer vaccines to the public. This was a previously untapped source of healthcare labor. We're relying more and more on our pharmacy technicians to close those gaps and fill in as our pharmacists move to those clinical roles. So the average median pay for a pharmacy technician is $35,000. According to labor statistics, this map reflects the annual wage of pharmacy techs. Your higher paying states are located on the West Coast, and it taps out around $47,000. In the Midwest, and as you move closer to the East Coast, your wages decrease to around $33,000. So the national annual average wage in the US is $52,000. As you can see, the pharmacy tech wages are well below the national average. So how do we increase this? How do we advocate for pharmacy technicians? Next slide, please. Here's a list of some actions to help bring that well-deserved recognition and elevate our pharmacy technicians. Implementing a career ladder. This will help improve professional development, increase patient safety, and provide an opportunity to advance. Determine if advanced certifications are right for you. As Tiffany had mentioned, Ptcb offers a variety of advanced certifications that will help further your education and teach skills in specialty areas. Get involved with professional organizations, such as ASHP. This would allow you to make connections with like-minded professionals, and it gives you access to continuing education classes. Network inside your organization and outside. Attend those meetings within your department and look for volunteer opportunities. Stay up to date on what is happening in your state and nationally. This was especially important during the pandemic on keeping up with the mask mandates and vaccine rollouts. We want to make sure we're giving the public the correct information. Seek higher education and be willing to get more training. Be flexible when it comes to cross-training and open-minded to trying new things, and realize it's never too late to go back and get that degree. Take on additional responsibilities and extra projects when available. This could be something as simple as reorganizing to improve workflow processes. Become an expert for a process or area. If you have extensive knowledge or interest in a subject, build upon that and help train new employees. Next slide, please. So here's an overview of our career ladder. This is done by an application process. You must submit an application including demonstration and examples of meeting the criteria for the next level. This application is given to the pharmacy applications manager, and we have an appointed board that reviews each application. Our pharmacy manager, the director of pharmacy, level 3 technicians, and of course, a couple of pharmacists. Advancement is decided by a simple majority vote. So I'm going to give you a quick overview of level 1 pharmacy technicians. You must have a high school education or equivalent. We do expect all of our technicians to be Ptcb certified. However, we allow up to 6 months of your hire date to obtain the certification. You must be licensed with the state of Kansas. We have a math aptitude test, including basic understanding of units and measure. You must have computer skills, be able to prioritize, attention to detail, and the ability to work as a team. Some general expectations is that you accurately fill and prepare medications with limited errors, demonstrate proficiency in the use of automated dispensing cabinets, demonstrate competence in IV sterile compounding, and demonstrate competence in medication repackaging. Next slide, please. So moving on to that level 2 advanced pharmacy technician, you must meet all of the level 1 requirements in addition to these requirements. You must be employed at Olathe Medical Center for at least a year, worked a minimum of 1,000 hours in the previous 12 months, and be in good standing with no final warnings. Examples of this would be tardiness. And of course, submit that application. Some of our general expectations are that you participate in basic skills training of new employees, can troubleshoot basic mechanical and other failures of automated equipment, master pharmacy calculations and medical pharmacy terminology, and you are expected to staff multiple areas and consistently meet your work schedule. If approved, this comes with a 6% pay increase. Next slide. So our final level 3 are considered our senior pharmacy techs. You must have been employed at Olathe Medical Center for at least 5 years, and 2 of those years of being a level 2 technician. You must be scheduled for a minimum of 1,500 hours per year. Some of our general expectations are provide leadership and guides daily workflow in pharmacy technician operations, provide assistance and training to other pharmacy personnel in a manner conducive for effective learning, routinely demonstrate excellent customer service and mastery in the ability to retrieve information and answer questions that do not require a pharmacist, and demonstrate competence in covering all shifts. This comes with an 8% pay increase. However, you must consistently meet all of these expectations. We do have a yearly peer review and self-evaluation. If there are major flags or discrepancies in your work, you could possibly be demoted. Next slide. So here are some results and benefits since we have implemented the career ladder at Olathe Medical Center. We have increased our technician pay by 20%. So if you look at this graph, this reflects the overall pay average for our pharmacy technicians. In 2019, our average pay was $16.63. I'm proud to report that for 2022, we raised that up to $21.25 as an average. Working full-time with that average brings our annual income to $44,000. That's almost $10,000 above the national average pay for pharmacy technicians. So just to name a few other benefits besides the monetary gain, we have decreased employee turnover. We want our technicians to have access to education. So we've offered free CEs, and our department will pay for those advanced certifications in Ptcb. It has improved leadership skills and boosted morale and improved job satisfaction. And it gives pharmacy technicians an opportunity to advance in their career. Next, please. So here's a couple pictures of my coworkers working hard and making patient safety their #1 priority. Out of everything that I went over today, I want this to resonate with you. We hold patients' lives in our hands. It's important that society and the healthcare field see us as professionals, and that we see each other as professionals and learn to advocate for ourselves and each other. Pharmacy technicians, you rock. Next slide, please. Okay, I just have a couple of questions to go over, and then I will hand it over to Nichole. So besides a monetary gain, name other benefits of implementing the career ladder. A, opportunity to advance in career. B, develop leadership skills. C, decreased employee turnover. Or D, all of the above. If you answered D, you are correct. How can you advocate for yourself? A, seek higher education. B, wait for others to address issues. Or C, stay up to date on what's happening in your state. Or D, both A and C. If you answered D, you are correct. And that is a wrap for me, and I will hand it over to Nichole.
Thank you so much, Megan. It is an honor to be here to speak with you all today. I'm Nicole Foster, and I am the Program Director of the Pharmacy Technician Training and Education Program at Vanderbilt Medical Center, as Raphael stated previously. Next slide, please. Like I said, I work for Vanderbilt University Medical Center. We are located in downtown Nashville, Tennessee. We are approximately 864 licensed beds. I believe that has changed since I even put this on the slide. COVID has kind of switched this up a little bit and it had us add a lot more beds. But on average, we do between 39 and 40,000 surgical procedures per year. We do just shy of 2 million ambulatory visits per year and around 67,511 emergency room visits per year. We have actually over 25,000 employees just in the downtown Nashville area and surrounding facilities. And we employ, or actually not employ, but we ask a lot of our 1,031 volunteers. We love them so much and what they do for us. And then just in our pharmacy department, we have over 800 employees to date. We were named to the Best Hospitals Honor Roll of the nation's top 20 adult hospitals. We are the #1 adult hospital in Tennessee and in the metropolitan Nashville area. And we were 10 nationally ranked adult hospital specialty programs with 3 specialties rated in the top 10 nationally. So we are also the only level 1 trauma center in the Southeast that's metro located or centrally located. Next slide, please. So similar to what Tiffany and Megan talked about, we have a career ladder. We want all of our technicians to come in with a baseline of knowledge. So we really essentially have 4 levels of technicians that you can kind of start stay in your same role. So for instance, if I got hired today at Vanderbilt as a registered technician, I could advance through certified 1, 2, and 3 and still maintain my current job responsibilities and duties. So it allows me to stay in that same area if I really like the people or the shift or the job duties, but still advance my career and add to those responsibilities on a daily basis. So our registered pharmacy technicians obviously have to have a state pharmacy license or registration upon hire. And then our certified technicians have to be nationally certified with either Ptcb or NHA on day one. So those are our main levels of our career ladder. We do have a advancement review board that reviews each of these applications for us to progress. Next slide, please. So how do we advance? Our technicians, if you are a registered technician, meaning you only have a state license or registration, in order to advance to a certified Tech 1, you have to at least have been working for 6 months as a pharmacy technician, and you have to submit a passing score on a national certification exam. And you cannot be in a written performance plan. So really, there's not a lot of requirements to advance from registered to certified. You just need to pass the exam and have worked for us for a little bit. And we do that because if you were to come into our organization as a certified Tech 1, we require that you have a minimum of 6 months experience and be certified on day one. I will tell you that if you complete an ASHP or ACP accredited training program or Ptcb recognized training program, we waive that 6 months requirement as long as you've completed one of those programs. To advance from a certified Tech 1 to a certified Tech 2, you have to have a minimum of 12 months experience as a technician with Vanderbilt. You have to complete a process improvement project for your area, something that needs improved upon or some education that needs to be provided to your area. And you have to complete a candidate interview with our Pharmacy Technician Advancement Review Board. We call that ARB for short. Our ARB is comprised of technician leaders from around our organization, from every specialty that we have, and is chaired by a pharmacist that's a member of our management team. Currently, Jared Whitman, who is our pharmacy manager over our evening and overnight shift, is the chair, and I actually sit as the co-chair for the ARB. So they have to complete that candidate interview and not also be on a written performance plan. We feel at Vanderbilt that if you're in a written performance plan, that your focus needs to be on getting out of that performance plan and improving whatever behaviors those are before you try to advance to another step. If you're wanting to advance from a Tech 2 to a Tech 3, you have to have a minimum of 2 years technician's experience, with 12 months of that being a Tech 2 at Vanderbilt. So you can have more than 2 years experience, but you have to at least been a Tech 2 at Vanderbilt for a year. And then you actually have to submit a letter of interest, an updated resume, and 2 letters of recommendation. You can have, one of them has to be from a pharmacist and the other can be from a higher level technician. Then you also have to complete a pretty extensive interview with our advancement review board that has additional questions and requirements differing from the Tech 2 interview. And you also cannot be on a performance plan. We actually modified this Step 3 process not too long ago, a couple years ago, because we used to have our candidates that are wanting to progress from 2 to 3 also do a project, but we found that really there's only so many projects per area. And like I said, we have over 800 pharmacy employees. And so we were constantly running into people wanting to duplicate projects, and it was just getting very like kind of just the same thing every day or every month that we were having these interviews, because we have our advancement review board interviews once a month. And so we changed it because we realized that not every technician is actually provided with the same level of education when it comes to how to apply for a job, how to write a resume, how to write a letter of interest, how to present themselves in a professional way. And we want to train our technicians and help them grow professionally. And so we added those steps so that when it comes to them applying for leadership positions in the future, whether that be with us or someone else, that they are prepared for those steps. Next slide, please. So that's what we consider our main career ladder steps, is the registered tech through Tech 3. But we have positions that are still on our career ladder. They're just kind of not, you have to apply for these positions and be selected by the hiring manager. It's not something that you can automatically advance to. So that's why we don't consider them a part of our normal career ladder rungs, but it's definitely advancement opportunities for our technicians. We have pharmacy reimbursement specialists 1 and 2. You can actually be a pharmacy reimbursement specialist 1 with only a technician license. You don't have to be certified. And if you get certified as a pharmacy reimbursement specialist, then you will automatically advance to a reimbursement specialist 2. We have different areas that require different things for our reimbursement specialists. So we have teams that are all reimbursement specialists 2 because the data and the things that they handle are what's required to have a national certification for. And then we have the ones that don't necessarily have to have the stuff they work on. They don't necessarily have to have that certification. So it really does provide kind of a career track for both registered and licensed technicians and certified technicians. Excuse me, in my eye. We also employ pharmacy technician verifiers in our inpatient environments and in our distribution center, our central supply pharmacy. The tech, which I have trouble saying 90% of the time, we were a pilot. We were the pilot program for that in the state of Tennessee, and our training and our metrics actually set the standard for what's required of technician verifiers in the state of Tennessee. We also have pharmacy technician compliance coordinators. These are similar to the quality assurance coordinators that Tiffany mentioned. These compliance coordinators vary in specialty pharmacy and sterile products. We have a sterile product specialty compliance, a sterile products compliance coordinator that goes around and makes sure that all of our sterile products areas are, up to par and meeting our standards, and also actually conducts our training classes for our technicians that are going to be making sterile preparations, because we make all technicians that are going to be making sterile preparations take this course so that everybody is trained on the same level, regardless if you've got 100 years in IV experience or none. We make everybody sit through that course. And then we have our pharmacy technician coordinators, which are our managers, our supervisors over technician teams, and they vary amongst the different areas. Like our day shift in our central pharmacy of our inpatient adult hospital has 3 pharmacy technician coordinators, just because our staff is so large that it requires that. And so it varies based on the site. So sometimes there'll just be 1 and sometimes there'll be 3. And then we have clinical program managers and program managers. So our clinical program managers usually manage some sort of clinical process or clinical staff, and are just maybe at like a different level, a higher level of functionality than a technician coordinator. And then we have program managers that might not necessarily manage clinical staff, but also oversee processes and things like that. Actually, after I started as a staffing technician on evening shifts for the adult hospital, I moved to the program manager role of onboarding and recruitment. So we have a program manager that oversees all of the onboarding for all of our pharmacy employees that come into the medical center, and then also assists in our areas with recruitment and compliance and things like that. Next slide, please. So those are our like job titles and job functions, but we actually, job titles and career paths, but we actually have job functions or roles for our technicians that live within that. So you can be a Tech 3 and have one of these roles. It's not necessarily a title role specifically for itself. It's more of a job responsibility. So we have medication history technicians, sterile and non-sterile compounding technicians, purchasing and procurement, investigational drug, specialty pharmacy clinic-based technicians. These technicians work alongside a pharmacist in a clinic setting to assist getting patients educated on our specialty drug products, and also getting them those actual products and getting them compliant on them. And then we have our specialty pharmacy compliance, our sterile products compliance, controlled substance diversion and monitoring. We have a new team that was formed in the past 1.5 years that actually just watches out for that stuff for our entire medical center and all of our pharmacy services. We have billing managers and then IT support technicians that are for inpatient and outpatient. One of the things that I failed to actually put on the last slide was we have another role called pharmacy technician system support. And that one kind of lives somewhere between a pharmacy verifier and a pharmacy tech coordinator on our career ladder. And they actually would be like our IT support for inpatient and outpatient, or our controlled substance diversion. And they just work in various roles. So that is another level that I forgot to mention on there. Next slide, please. So one of the things I wanted to highlight, because like I said, we were a pilot program for the state of Tennessee with our technician verifier position. Our technician verifiers assist the pharmacist in the verification, preparation, and distribution of medications independently. They verify medications in accordance with state law and standards of practice. They manage workflow to maximize efficiency and quality, considering workload priorities in the pharmacy. When you walk into our central pharmacy, you have technicians moving all around at the tubing station, at our X-Temp station, at our med carousels, and our pharmacy technician verifiers are kind of centrally located to kind of help guide those processes along and like remind people what's coming up next with our batches and different things like that. And then also actually product verifying. So we kind of really lean on and rely on heavily on our pharmacy technician verifiers in our inpatient settings to help guide the day and complete those processes for us. The training requirements for a pharmacy technician verifier is that you have to review various policies and procedures, including the look-alike, sound-alike, medication ordering, high alert meds, medication safety, common dispensing errors, and medication classes. You have to review and screen processes to review and verify daily cart fill. And then there's a 750-piece audit that they have to complete where they have to perfectly verify 750 pieces. And then they have to pass a quarterly audit and achieve required accuracy rate in 25 doses from cart fill and 25 doses in the narcotic room. So we monitor them to make sure they don't start slipping on their skills. Next slide, please. So I have a question for you. And I think you have to hit it again. There you go. Technician verifiers can check any product that is dispensed from the pharmacy. True or false? I'll give you a second. So the answer to that one is false. Pharmacy technicians can verify pre-labeled, like pre-barcode scanned enabled, pre-packaged medications, things like IVs and X-Temps and things like that have to actually be verified by our pharmacist. So that concludes our individual presentation portion. I will let Raphael take over from here. Thank you guys so much.
First off, thank you all for coming in today to do this panel. To sit here and listen to all the amazing advancements that are happening abroad in the nation, and to see three amazing women take helm on a lot of these things is truly inspiring. So just to give a little bit of context of what has happened here in the state of New York. So for those of you that are tuning in right now, I'm a pharmacy technician here in the state of New York, always practice here in the state of New York until somebody pays me the dollars to go somewhere else. Although Kansas is sounding pretty nice, or Texas, or Tennessee. One of the things that we have here in the state of New York is that we just recently got pharmacy technicians licensed and registered. And I know that sounds like such an archaic thing because that has been established in many different parts of the country already. But New York State, as always, is the last. So there's a couple of things. One thing that we battle with here in the state of New York is having a lot of hospital systems either be divided into two different types of brackets: unionized versus non-unionized. So just for those of us that are tuning in right now, and I'm just going to ask this question to the entire panel, is your hospital system unionized or non-unionized? I'll start with Tiffany.
So no, I'm originally from Pennsylvania, so I understand the whole unionized, non-unionized thing, and watched my mother and grandmother as they worked become part of a union. But here in Texas, as far as I know in healthcare, there are no unions.
Got it. For Meagan?
Sorry, I had to unmute myself there. We are not unionized. So, and I'm not familiar with with that in here in Kansas at all, in any hospital.
Okay, excellent. Thank you. And Nichole, how about yourself?
Yeah, as far as I'm aware, we don't have any unionization in Tennessee in healthcare. I could be wrong, but I don't believe that we are.
Got it. So the one problem that we face when it comes to hospital systems that are unionized is the fact of establishing a career ladder that you have all proposed. Let me be clear, you all have such beautiful setups when it comes to positions to apply for. In certain union hospitals, the career ladder is extremely limited for pharmacy technicians. One of the things that I want to ask you all, and we'll go through the same order if that's okay, is what advice would you give to technicians who want to do more, but the hospital system doesn't have an established career ladder? pearls of wisdom would you bestow upon them? Tiffany?
So what I would do if the hospital system that you're currently working at does not have a career ladder is work on yourself internally. Professional development for yourself is key. So we mentioned Ptcb and their advanced certifications that are available. Start taking them, start advancing your career, because by the time that your hospital system really embraces a career ladder, you'll be ready, and you'll be ready at the top rung. So that's my advice.
Yes, thank you for that, Tiffany. Thank you. Meagan, what pearls of wisdom would you bestow upon those techs?
Well, it's going to be very similar, working on yourself and maybe going back and finishing your degree. Even like learning just another language and where you could apply at your job to be a translator. Yeah, working on yourself is going to be the number one thing to further your education and really set yourself out away from the crowd.
I love how you mentioned being a translator, because it's like, it's so important now, especially in the umbrella of diversity and equity for us as pharmacy technicians, because many times in our practice, we're the frontline workers in certain aspects and the bridge between patient and pharmacist. The importance of language and cultural competency is extremely key. So thank you, Meagan, for bringing that to the forefront, especially when it comes to breaking language barriers and establishing the fact of having that good contact and that good understanding with your patient population. So thank you.
Absolutely.
Oh, excellent. And last but not least, the amazing, the fantastic, the beautiful, my girl, Nichole.
So I 100% like agree with everything that Tiffany and Meagan said. I would add as well is to get involved with your state and national, like we mentioned, networking opportunities, associations. One of the things that we've actually recently done at Vanderbilt is actually we provide membership, like we pay for the membership for all of our technicians to get involved with the Tennessee Pharmacists Association, which has a technician kind of affiliated section with it. And then we also encourage participation to get in on like ASHP or the National Pharmacy Technician Association, just something like that. My main thing is, meeting Raphael, meeting Tiffany, meeting Meagan. I wouldn't have had any of this available to me if I hadn't have pushed for myself to join these things. It wasn't encouraged by my supervisors. It wasn't encouraged. It was really only encouraged by one director that I had at the time. And he was like, you need to get involved with ASHP. I can see that you want to make a change. And so I think that's the biggest thing is like, yes, you need to work on yourself, but you need to be driven and make changes where you see that you can, because sometimes you have to actually carve out the path that you want to follow. So
yes, thank you for saying that, because it's funny that you bring that up, because that also leads up to my next question, and I'm going to start it off with Tiff. For the pharmacy technicians that are on right now, because
I think he froze for a bit. Until he comes back, there was, I think he's back. There you go.
Okay, there we go.
He froze for a bit, my dear. Please
whole
repeat your question.
Sure. So I'm going to start off with Tiffany for this question, and just to give a little context to those who are tuning in with us right now. Tiffany, myself, and Nichole were talking with Meagan, and the first question Meagan asked was, how do you all know each other? And we were saying how we all met at ASHP's pharmacy mid-year. And for pharmacy technicians, I'm sure we've all heard our wonderful students talk about mid-year, because they're going to go do their residency, or they want to do some networking, whatever the case be, or our pharmacy leadership going to ASHP mid-year. I want to talk a little bit about, and Tiffany, if you can start us off, about our journeys with engaging outside of our institutions to better ourselves within our professions. Can you speak a little bit towards that and your narrative?
Sure, I certainly can. I am a member of ASHP. I have been a member since I moved over to the pharmacy education team, which was in 2015. And I did get the honor of sitting on the first executive committee council for ASHP when they released that for pharmacy technicians. So I was super honored to do that. And the reason why I did that was because I had great support in my institution and mentors that said, you're in a unique position. You really need to share your experience with the nation in this. So with that, plus I also volunteer with Ptcb. So if you're interested in getting involved with Ptcb, they always have a volunteer application available on their website to sign up for exam development or be a content expert in certain fields. So either one of those pathways, either to volunteer with ASHP, get on one of their advisory groups, apply for an executive committee position, volunteer with Ptcb. Those are all fabulous ways to really get involved outside of your institution.
Excellent. Thank you, Tiff. Meagan, how about yourself?
So I am a member of ASHP, and I did this presentation by my boss really encouraged me to reach outside of my comfort zone and try something different. So I am still navigating through all of this, but I am trying to reach out and get to know other technicians. It's important to me that we elevate each other and that we see each other as professionals, because I think many times the public sees us as counting pills. And I'm like, there's so much more to that. I mean, we really hold your lives in our hands, and I want to elevate us. So I am new at this, and I am reaching out and looking for those volunteer opportunities. So thank you, Tiffany, for pointing out that Ptcb takes volunteers, because I will probably pursue that.
Yes, please do, Meagan. And those who are tuning into on this panel today, the opportunities that are allotted to us are very, very vast. And Meagan, welcome to the fold. I mean, you're one of the brand new up and coming stars now. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Nicole,
thank you.
No, anytime. Nicole, what about your journey, my fabulous, beautiful friend?
So I got involved with ASHP several years ago and really had no idea what to do. Kind of just started playing around on their website and I remember I signed up for some email things, and I got an email that said like, hey, if you want to be involved in one of our like advisory committees, sign up here. And so I wound up, I have a master's in education, and they had an opening on their education, I forget what it's called now, but like the Education Commission or Council or something that, it's this horrible plug for ASHP, but and so I just was a member. I wasn't like a chair, I wasn't anything like that. I was just a member on this little committee that helped like with technician CE and helped develop content and stuff on the website and stuff like that. It was really fun. Got really involved and really kind of like really enjoyed meeting other technicians and getting involved in these things. And then kind of through that process, I wound up chairing a couple different, like the membership outreach and e-communications advisory groups through ASHP. And then eventually I was appointed to the Pharmacy Technician Accreditation Commission for ASHP, which I currently sit on. And so we go around the country and actually do site visits and help with the accreditation process for pharmacy technician programs that are wanting to become ASHP accredited. And so I myself have started a pharmacy technician training program at Vanderbilt. And we actually have our accreditation site visit on May 23rd of this year. So we will be petitioning for that accreditation as well. And so just being super involved and prepared with these things has really helped me in my role and carve out this program here at Vanderbilt alone. So it directly has correlated into me being able to use it in my job skills. And then the same director, I have to give him a shout out. His name is Mark Sullivan. He's now our Associate Chief Pharmacy Officer. He was the one that really pushed me to get involved with ASHP. And he also kind of pushed me to get involved with Ptcb as well. He had an opportunity to kind of come across his desk to be a content expert on the billing and reimbursement exam for Ptcb. And I'd spent a number of years in retail and knew a lot about reimbursement and things like that. And so I actually wound up, after they interviewed me and did all these things, I wound up being the primary content expert for the pharmacy reimbursement and billing exam for Ptcb. And then that kind of just paved the way for me to get to know some people. And then eventually I became a member of the Pharmacy Technician Certification Board's Certification Council, which Tiffany is also on. And so between ASHP and Ptcb, I get to see a lot of Tiffany, which is always really great. so I plan both of the PTAC and the Cert Council appointments are multiple year appointments. I think PTAC is like 4 years or something, and I think Cert Council is either 4 or 6. And so I don't have any plans to kind of sit on any other commissions. I did actually also chair the Tennessee Society for Pharmacy Technicians for the Tennessee Pharmacists Association for 2 years. So I kind of stepped out of that stuff. So I do a lot. It's ridiculous. And I feel like I always just talk about myself too much, but that's everything, I think.
No, thank you so much for that. Thank you. That was a beautiful setup for everything that we've gone through today. But I do want to answer about 2 questions that we have from the audience real quick. I'm going to field this question to Tiffany. So in order to work in sterile compounding, must a technician have a Ptcb IV certification?
The quick answer is no. Depending on your state, you may need to go through a initial sterile compounding training course. I don't know about New York, Raphael, you may know more than I do, and I'll certainly let you chime in. But for the state of Texas, technicians must go through a 40-hour CE course in order to be eligible to actually be in an IV room. Other than that, within the course, you have to pass process validation, all your competencies, which include several things like aseptic technique, hood cleaning, hazardous drug management, things like that. So it does matter what your state defines, what your state board of pharmacy defines as what's required before entering an IV room. I will say that the CSPT exam is recommended for people that have worked in an IV room 3 years out of the past 8 years, and that they have done an initial sterile compounding training course to be eligible to take the national sterile compounding exam.
Got it. So for here in the state of New York, and for those who are practicing here, right now, there is no legislation in place that necessarily requires having the sterile compounding certification. You do have to have your license and registration, in order to actually compound here in the state of New York. And in order to do such, you have to just have your basic Ptcb certification in order to obtain the license of registration. So thank you for your answer, Tiffany. We appreciate that. The next question I'm actually going to field over to Nichole. One of the questions that came through was, I would like to know if there is a position in pharmacy informatics for pharmacy technicians. There are so many technicians who are knowledgeable on this topic, but positions are, I believe, is unavailable.
Yeah, that's a great question. I think the field of pharmacy is ever growing and ever changing. And I think that there's little one-off positions like this that are going to pop up everywhere, I think, for different things, especially as we make technological advancements. For us, yes, we have technicians in pharmacy informatics at Vanderbilt. And I think at Tiffany's institution, they have them as well. And so what we recently, in the past 5 years, I blacked out during that time period, but it was within the last 5 years, converted to Epic at our institution. And so that was a major undertaking for our health IT people. And so our pharmacy informatics team actually wound up hiring a number of certified pharmacy technicians to assist in the web content development, the training and things like that. And a really good friend of mine who actually trained and onboarded when they came to Vanderbilt, I'll give him a shout out. His name's Josh Seltz. He's a certified pharmacy technician, and he actually wound up just being a super rock star with the informatics team, and has actually risen up to move on to health IT for the entire medical center kind of thing. And so he has actually really elevated his own career. But yes, he started out after the inpatient setting in informatics. So short answer, yes, there are.
Excellent. Thank you so much for that. So I want to first say thank you all very much, my amazing, esteemed, fantastic panel. You've dropped so much information here today. Before we close today's session, the CE code for this program is going to